Stop looking at my shitty haircut. Yes, I cut it myself last night. Yes, I'm aware it looks like I cut it myself. Welcome back to another Small Channel Analytics Sunday. What is this? It's week 13, I think. Lucky number 13. Very exciting. We're definitely into the phase of the channel where it's starting to feel more familiar for me. I'm still learning, don't get me wrong. There's always more to learn, and I'm still very much a baby beginner, and I feel like it. But at the same time, there is a not insignificant part of me that keeps thinking I should have taken off by now. The channel should be further along. I should be getting more views and better viewer retention on my videos. I should be better at making videos than I am. And I think that sort of comes from this cultural narrative that we have where we see some influencers and content creators take off with their content right away, really fast. Some people's first video goes viral immediately. And, I have to remind myself that those people are very much the exception, not the rule. Okay, nothing has gone wrong with where I'm at in my current YouTube journey. In fact, it's very normal. And in fact, we're going to get into this a little bit later. I am really glad that my channel is seeing slow but pretty steady growth. I think of it as like winning the lottery. Being able to grow slow and steady means that I am building my capacity to hold more attention and everything that comes with it. Whereas I think if I had one video, if my first video immediately went viral, that would be super overwhelming and I wouldn't know how to sustain it, right? I wouldn't know how to use the resource of that attention to be able to keep building on it. So having the luxury of taking my time and making each video a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and using things like the analytics of each video that I post, as well as the incredibly valuable feedback that you all have been giving me. It's slowly building out my capacity to have more eyeballs on me. All right. Taking a look at last week's channel analytics update, not great. 36 views, pretty low. 2.8 hours of watch time, which is 1 point less than usual. So actually, that's not so bad. No new subscribers from that, but average view duration was 4 minutes and 43 seconds, which is 24.1% of the video. Now, I have said in the first quarter of this year, my first quarter of being on YouTube, my goal was to optimize for clicks and gaining subscribers. This quarter, what I'm trying to optimize for is viewer retention, getting my average view duration up. Because I realized that I was kind of going about it backwards. I assumed that if I was focusing on getting subscribers, that the watch time would take care of itself. But as I sort of examined that, I realized I had it backwards. I need to be focusing on watch time, and then the subscriber count will take care of itself. So that's what we're doing. And if that is my goal, then technically I did okay on last week's channel analytics. I can't let myself get too discouraged by seeing things like low views, no new subscribers, low overall watch time if the average view duration is decent. And in this case, it was. 24% is high for me and my channel so far. Okay, reach. 1.2 thousand impressions, 1.8% impressions click-through rate. That's a little bit lower than what has been my average recently. So, I would like to see that number be higher. That means that something about my title and thumbnail just wasn't resonating with people if that click-through rate was low. How people found me. Most people found me through browse features, but this is very exciting. Okay, this is a new revelation with this video. I had a number of people find me through search and click on my video through search. So we're going to look at that in just a moment here. So 11.1% from suggested videos, 8.3% channel pages, and then a surprisingly high number from other. Let's look at these search terms, shall we? We've got Elizabeth Phillips, Khadija Mbo, and then YouTube channel, monetization. I think all three of these terms I have in my little SEO section of my video descriptions. So this part tells me, this part plus the impressions tells me that my SEO continues to be fine. It continues to be good enough for YouTube to understand the content of my video so that YouTube can show my title and thumbnail to people who are interested in those topics. You may be wondering how I decided on the creators that I have listed in my video description, because not all of them are in the same niche. And actually, my most common search term is Tiffany Ferg. I think Tiffany Ferg is actually a really great way for people to find me, because I mean, her whole thing is talking about social issues and media on the internet. And I am also talking about that, but from a different angle, more from like so you want to grow online and you're struggling with your mental health. Let me help you with your mental health so that you can grow online if that's what you want to do, but also help you figure out why it is that you want to do that. All in all, I would say the search terms are search terming. I have no notes other than I would say that that's a thumbs up for me. But the way that I decided who to put into my channel, it was really, I went through my own list of subscriptions on my personal YouTube account. But anyway, so yeah, overall, YouTube search terms, I'd say, are a thumbs up. They definitely reflect that my SEO section in my video descriptions are effectively talking to the YouTube algorithm. Let's look at engagement. So, as I mentioned before, 2.8 total watch time hours for this video is lower than usual, but given how few views it got, only 36 views, I'd say almost 3 hours of watch time and 36 views is not bad. So it's important for me to note that, because this gray down arrow does not reflect the whole picture. Average view duration, 4 minutes and 43 seconds, which is a minute 32 more than usual. Big green arrow going up. We love to see it. So again, given that my goal is to see that specific number go up, my average view duration, I want to see a green arrow go up. Even though all of my other numbers on this video, the main numbers are gray and they're sad and they're low, this number way up. So I would say that's a win, right? That's a win. Speaking of wins, it's been a good week for Laura. I have been doing a lot of emotional processing the last few weeks. Perhaps that has been reflected in my Wednesday videos. It definitely has been. But this has been another big week of like sort of working through some stuff, which I won't go into the details of what that is, but just know that emotionally I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I am reaching another level of understanding myself and having a really good relationship with myself and trusting myself to be able to handle the ups and downs of life, especially the downs. And that's, I think, a huge positive side effect of this YouTube journey is that it has been a lot of ups and downs. It's like I went from having a really, really good video that took off and having a really great, Q1 review and having reached my subscriber goal for quarter 1, to like then having a week of just absolutely tanked videos, but then also realizing that they weren't really tanked. It's just that, I had a sudden like really good week and then I kind of felt entitled to those numbers. And so all of that has helped me realize that like even with those ups and downs in terms of these numbers, this sort of external thing that's happening and that I'm experiencing, like I can still have a good relationship with myself. I don't need to let these silly arbitrary metrics determine my relationship with myself. And maybe you're watching this and you're thinking like, no shit, you shouldn't. um has that been a problem for you? Yes, it has. Okay, I am a recovering perfectionist. And listen, okay, I was raised in this society that substitutes numbers for self-worth, right? This society that confuses your personal net worth as your personal value to yourself and to humanity into the universe, right? I was raised here just like you were. And if you haven't struggled with that, like I have, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Can't relate. Must be nice. But that's also why I'm here, because I know that I am not the only person who has struggled with accidentally regarding the number in my bank account or the number on my social media as a tangible quantification of how much I matter as a human, as a being. I know that I'm not the only one. So I'm saying all of this because if you are also in that same boat as me, you're not alone. Anyway, so that's one win for the week. Another win for the week is I mentioned that I applied to an internship a couple weeks ago, and I have been offered the internship and I accepted the internship. So it's super exciting. I'm going to be working in the career center of my university, so working with other students who are starting out on their path. And I am just so thrilled to do this because, like, my overall career mission, my whole reason for doing everything that I'm doing is I want to support artists and creatives in their careers, because I know from firsthand experience how fucking hard it is out there to try to make a living from your creativity. It is not easy, okay? The like stereotype of the starving artist exists for a reason. And I have made it my mission in this life to try to eliminate that stereotype. I don't want to see any more starving artists. I want our artists to thrive. But I'll tell you why they don't. It's because artists are the truth tellers of society. And it probably comes as no surprise to you that the powers that be are very threatened by truth tellers. They don't want truth tellers. They are doing everything in their power to eliminate truth tellers from telling the truth, or at least from that truth from landing on other people's ears and into other people's minds and hearts, right? Artists have a very, very important role in society. And I think it's really telling that our society works so hard to marginalize creatives, to brainwash creatives into believing that like their talents, their skills, their gifts are not valuable, because they are. And I really, really deeply believe that. I'm really excited because getting this internship in the Career Center means that I will have the opportunity to work with art majors, English majors, music majors, theater majors, dance majors, everybody, like I'm hoping that I'll have the opportunity to kind of become the arts person, have my colleagues refer art majors to me. I majored in art, so I know how hard it is to make that degree worth the time and money. Anyway, I'm like so getting way off course of what this video is supposed to be. My Wednesday video was titled "These Mainstream Self-Help Concepts Are Ruining Your Mental Health." Learning lessons from the Wednesday video from the week before. I wanted to make this video more you focused, more audience focused, more you're suffering because of this and let me help you, right? As I talked about in last week's channel update, I realized as I was looking through my own video feed on YouTube that the vast majority of the titles of the videos that are being shown to me are either focused on you, the viewer, or somebody else, a third party. Maybe people are like reacting to TikToks, or they're talking about something that happened in the news or whatever. Almost zero, a very, very low percentage of the videos that I'm being shown are saying like, I, blah, 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 I, the creator, did this. I, the creator, did that. I, the creator, realized this. And when they are, it's like usually still sort of implied that the video is for you or about you, the viewer, or about somebody else. All of that to say, I wanted to put that to the test and make a like title and thumbnail and video that was very you focused. And it seems to have worked because the video since Wednesday, and it's Sunday, has gotten 263 views, which is 133 more than usual, 23.1 hours of watch time, which is 17.1 hours more than usual, and 6 new subscribers. So these metrics, amazing. But the real test is, what was the average view duration? Let's have a look. Average view duration, 5 minutes and 16 seconds, which is almost 2 minutes longer than usual. 29.3% of the video average view retention or audience retention, average view duration. So that being my key metric says that this video was a resounding success. Yes, my top performing video on long form video on this channel has now 400 views, but this video outperforms that in literally every other way, especially the audience retention, which is the thing that I'm focusing on for this quarter. So let's run back to look at reach. We've got impressions, 7.6 thousand impressions. I think this is the highest on my whole channel, including my shorts. 7.6 thousand times my title and thumbnail has been shown to somebody. 2.4% impressions click-through rate. That's pretty standard for my channel at this point. I'm happy with that. Would love to see that number go up, but I'll take it. That's not what I'm optimizing for. 263 views, as I said, 134 unique viewers. 92.8% people found me through browse features. So that's showing up on your feed as you're scrolling through. 3.4% suggested videos. 1.5% direct or unknown, only less than 1% YouTube search, 1.5% other. So the vast majority, the vast majority of people who clicked on that video clicked on it from their feed. That's pretty rad. The other thing I find very interesting, let's look at this graph here of the impressions. So you can see the first little while after this video was posted got no traffic. In fact, for the first 24 hours, I think it was number 9 or number 10 out of my last 10 videos in terms of views. It was really not doing well. And we got a little bump up here, and then we had another plateau where it was plateauing at, I don't know, 10 views or something. And then a day and a half, 2 days in, steady growth. And now we're in another plateau. So I think that was around Friday evening. It started getting a lot of views. And apparently I think that lasted through Saturday. All right, so let's have a look at the search term. So again, Elizabeth Phillips was the only search term that popped up here. So Elizabeth Phillips is coming for Tiffany Ferg in my my most popular search terms. Last but not least, this video did get some dislikes. Only 87.5% liked versus disliked. Now, we talked a little bit about likes and dislikes in my last channel analytics update, and somebody made the point that sometimes people hit the dislike button if they're trying to train their algorithm to not show either me or content like that, which is, hey, fair enough. You got to do what you got to do to train your algorithm to give it what you want. I've been teaching my parents how to train their algorithms recently in light of current events. Let me know if you want me to make a whole video on that, because I think in the attention economy, we need to be treating our attention as the currency that it is. And that involves training your algorithms so that you can spend your attention currency wisely. The dislikes, okay. The dislikes, I could take them personally, but I won't. And I'll tell you why. Besides the fact that, none of you all who are watching this know me personally. You know what I am putting out on the internet, but you don't know me personally. So you can dislike the content that I'm putting out. That's not the same as disliking me, first of all. Second of all, it's information, right? And I can choose to interpret this information in a few different ways. One potentially productive way to interpret this information is that this video genuinely wasn't helpful to some people who watched it, or some people genuinely disagreed with it. And that's okay, because it was a video of me disagreeing with common self-help tropes. So I expect the sort of increased negative response. And this is strategy on social media. At the end of the day, things that are emotionally activating are the things that perform well online, which is unfortunate, but true and can be used to your benefit if you use it wisely, right? So I was experimenting with that here. And so it doesn't surprise me that something that I posted that was a little bit more based in controversy and disagreement would get more disagreements in the responses. Similar things happen in the comments of that video. Again, I don't take those critical comments personally because they're constructive criticism, really, really genuinely constructive criticism. I so deeply appreciate when you leave me comments that tell me what I'm doing well and tell me areas where I can improve, because like feedback is a gift. Like prior to the last few videos where I have been getting some really, really thoughtful comments from you guys about how I can improve my channel, I was just sort of poking around in the dark. I'm like, okay, well, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I do this? I'm like only using the information that the analytics give me, and the analytics does not give me a full picture. So getting more specific feedback from you really, really helps me continue to improve my craft of making videos. I am kind of choosing to see like this dislike rate as an extension of those constructive criticism comments. The fact of the matter is, like, I kind of see that as movement in the right direction because it means that I am finding my voice and my perspective, and specifically finding where my voice and my perspective stand out from what everybody else is saying. And this is a process. Now, this goes back to what I was talking about in the introduction of this video, that like I think it's a really good thing that my channel growth has been slow and steady instead of sudden dramatic virality, because it is a process for me to figure out my voice and my perspective and how I want to present my perspective so that, you know, I feel understood, but also in a way that like you feel understood, you feel seen in a way that like maybe other creators haven't helped you feel seen and understood and respected. I think that like a lower like count means that I am niching down, not necessarily in my content, but in my agenda, in my perspective. I see it as a positive thing. I see it as personal growth to be able to be okay with some people not liking me, some people not agreeing with me, some people not liking my perspective and what I have to say, because the more people who dislike me, the more that like the people who do like me will feel like what I am offering them is really for them. Now this takes me into actually a comment that was asking me on my Wednesday video about like, who is this video for? Is it for you? Is it for your audience, or is it for both? And that comment really got me thinking, because like my initial reaction was like, well, it's for both. Like, you know, this channel is for me in that, you know, I want to monetize it because I want to improve my personal finances. I want to feel like I'm making a difference in the world. I want to feel like the world is a better place because I've been in it and I've contributed my perspective and my strengths. One of my strengths is yapping. I have been experiencing a lot of personal growth through this process of becoming an online person. And at the same time, in order for me to have an impact, I need to help others. I need to be speaking to others, not to me, right? Like, I need to be making this for you, the audience, not for me. A lot of what I have been posting has really been for me, and I need to be more you focused, I think. I don't know yet what that's going to look like, because one issue is that, I mean, I'm approaching final season this semester, so I don't have a ton of bandwidth to be focusing on significant growth. I've sort of made the conscious decision to see from now to mid-May, when finals are over, see it as an intentional like plateau, and to just be focusing on showing up and sticking to my schedule, which may mean that, like, the content itself is not as good as it could be, but I'm still going to be trying my best to be like, at the very least, if I'm talking about something that's coming from my life and my perspective, to at least like reframe it to be like, this is for you. I just finished a paper where I've been doing research, looking at the existing peer-reviewed research on the mental health of influencers. And spoiler alert, there is nothing. We don't know anything about how the influencers are. Well, we know a little bit, and the little bit that we know, it ain't looking good. So I am going to be talking about that this upcoming Wednesday. I'm really excited to talk about it because I think that people who are pursuing this as a career need to understand the risks. I think that our culture does not respect or even understand, even know the risks that are involved in pursuing a career as an influencer or a content creator, especially when the content that you're creating has your face, has your likeness, has your essence associated with it. And we need to talk about it because right now I feel like the discourse about being a professional influencer and content creator is like, oh, it's the easiest job in the world. Like, it's not a real job. You're just on vacation all the time. Like, you're not really working, blah, blah, blah. And like, people really resent it. Influencers who talk about the difficulties of being influencers get so much flack. They get so much criticism. People hate them. So much vitriol, so much hate for talking about the challenges. And you know what? I don't think that's fair because the limited evidence that we have says that it's hard. It's fucking hard. There are genuine risks to your psychological safety and your physical safety to being online, to having a large platform. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. I'm really excited. If you are interested in hearing about that, make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already. And I will see you then. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good Sunday. There's a ghost in this house. I'm pet sitting. There's a ghost in this house that opens the trash behind me. Growth. I've sort of made the conscious, there's the ghost again.